In 2009, World Menopause Day was introduced by the International Menopause Society in collaboration with the World Health Organization. Every October 18th, it's observed to raise awareness about menopause and support women's health worldwide. Today, we are offering something a little bit different on Half Betty, a story within a story. We're taking you behind the making of the documentary Menopause Coming in Hot, directed by Kate Gruen and produced by Amber Orchard. And the best part, Kate just isn't behind the camera this time. She's also the star, walking us through her own menopause journey in real time, with all its ups, downs, and sideways moments. The trailer for Menopause Coming in Hot is dropping tomorrow, October 18th, on World Menopause Day. Join us as we celebrate a film that's relatable and honest and full of insights from women's health experts, a story that empowers, informs, and inspires. Welcome to Half Betty.
We wanted to start with, where did Half Betty start? Half Betty was a midlife moment, a time at which I felt the weight of turning 50. And I went outside after work that day and sat in my car, and it was cold and dark. January's shitty month for a birthday. And I happened to glance in the rearview mirror and I saw myself, and I just had this moment of thinking, I can't believe this reflection in the mirror is a 50-year-old. And I'm in the midst of this strange world, and I feel weird in my body, and 50 means, and then I filled in the blank with everything that society says that 50 means. And being female in particular, 50 meant that you're now faded, obsolete, irrelevant, not as strong, not as powerful, not as vibrant. And I thought that couldn't be more opposing what I believe to be true of not just for me, but for all women. And I was reminded of what I had learned earlier that day, which was that Betty White would have turned 100. Both her and I have the same birthday. And my lovely team at work had made a cake with a picture of both me and Betty White. And I thought, you know what? Betty White did more from 50 to 100 than she did before she turned 50. And I thought, I'm half Betty's age, half Betty. And Betty White is an inspiration for what you can do from 50 until the end of your time. And that's where this story or this idea started to germinate. Women in their midlives need to rewrite this narrative that exists, that 50 is done. And we need to find a place where we can all gather and share the stories of all the catalysts that we have to navigate and figure out and work through and survive and somehow come out on the other side. We need a place where everybody gets to share those stories and talk about the transformation that happens. And so that then manifested itself 2 years later, miserable in the job I was in. I pitched an idea for a podcast to a contest that then won. And this is the podcast.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
And one of the things that Krista and I get to experience is the meeting of all of these women who we're having on the show, including yourselves. And what we learn and hear from all these women are stories that are familiar. And we're seeing this energetic layering of connection and support and an opportunity to bring the space for all women to come together, to share the wisdom and insights and experiences, and to be in a place where we don't feel like we're just doing it by ourselves.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So maybe you could get into this and start talking about this incredible film you made and how you've been affected by it.
Yeah, sure. My name is Kate Gruen. I'm a producer and director, and Amber Orchard is also a producer on the film Menopause Coming in Hot. And I'd say the whole genesis of the film and how it kind of came about for me was that in my early 40s, I was starting to feel not myself. and for many years questioned what was going on. Why? I'm not an unhappy person. I'm not an angry person. And then I got into my later, like 46, 47. I was like, oh, this is what's happening. And I once again convinced Amber to come on board one of my crazy projects. And along with two other producers on the project, Jessica Young and Olivia Fellows, we went after some funding, and it evolved a few different times. I think at one point we were going to do a Viking version. It was very convoluted. And then eventually, I guess I was convinced that I am the story, which I'm so sick of myself at this point in the process. But yeah, it seems to have worked out. And over to you, Amber.
Hi, I'm Amber, and I am a producer on the film. Very, very excited to share Kate's story because I think her particular journey through perimenopause is so relatable. And I guess I didn't really realize how relatable until we started diving into the planning of it and the shooting of it, and then watching it. How many times have we watched all those scenes? That it really came to light for me, where I was like, oh, wait a second. I've been going through perimenopause. I have all these things that have been happening. And oh my gosh, all my girlfriends are going through perimenopause. So this particular project has just been so close to home and so relatable. And I think is going to be a catalyst for so many women to go and find the resources to make themselves feel so much better and so much more powerful in this middle half-betty part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And that's what the film is. It's women talking to women and me trying to figure out what works for me. And obviously that's not going to work for everybody. And then, of course, we find out along the journey lots of little interesting tidbits about how you find yourself in this place in your life and you feel really powerful and you're just hitting this wall sometimes. I talked to two women, Janet Coe and Trish Barbado in Toronto, who are founders of the Menopause Foundation, and they've done some really interesting work and studies, and they have a campaign called Menopause Works here. And they've some incredible stats about how women at this stage in their life are ready to take those CEO jobs and take the upper echelon senior positions. And they don't often because they are dealing with symptoms that are out of control, or they don't know what's going on, or they're having to take time off of work. And there's actually clear link to the economic cost of menopause in the workforce.
That's
and
interesting.
so that's that the film talks a little bit about as well.
That's a really
such an incredible film, and
point.
Those statistics, the knowledge that they bring and contribute to the film made me lean in. So I did really love that part. But what I really, really loved is the humor that you brought to it all and the authenticity that comes with it as well. Just you're like, no bullshit. Here I am. So grateful that we had a chance to see an early screening of it and that you're both here and willing to talk about the film and also sharing your journey. We're also really curious to know who you are as people outside of the film, being in our community of midlife ladies. We would love to hear from each of you. If you could take a moment and just share 5 words that really resonate with you. And it's in the moment. Tomorrow it may change. Yesterday it might have been different. But certainly in our midlife, we have the ability to look at ourselves very differently than we did when we were younger.
Yeah. Amber, do you want to go first?
One word I can definitely come up with is resourceful. And I say that because I've spent a lifetime of trying to create with very little at times. I think that's part of my nonprofit background or working in doc film, or I feel like I'm really good at creating with not very much. And I think that is not just my work life, that's my personal life. It's like a bit of a challenge to do that. So I'd say resourceful would be one word. Kate, do you want to try for a word now?
It's like we're playing pickleball.
Yeah.
Oh, pickleball, that's way cooler.
Yeah, confident. I think I found a confidence lately that I have not had, which I think if people know me, they'd be like, what? I think I probably come across very confidently, but I never really believed it. And now I'm in the Do Not. I love that woman and she speaks to me wholeheartedly. And I am embracing that. Although I do care, but the little things I just have no time for. And I think I'm just in a different place in my career as well, where I'm not precious with things anymore. And I'm becoming very select with the people that I work with, obviously.
It's like a level of discernment that comes in. That's how I interpret this level of not caring, because I feel as though I care more, but about less of the things that I used to care about.
Yeah.
I used to care about too many things that really are inconsequential or that I have no control over. And so I wasted my time caring about things that I couldn't change. And I feel like midlife has given me the opportunity to care more discerningly about the things that I have control over or the things that really truly matter.
Yeah. You know which hills to die on now.
Yeah. Where are you going to put that effort? Where are you going to put that energy?
I will say, I remember one of the first times I saw Kate's clip of her on like an iPhone with no makeup on, hair not done, you know. And having known Kate and worked with her for so long and someone who has always presented herself in a certain way, I was like, wow, you're going to put that on film for everyone to see? She's like, yeah, I am.
Love it.
Go, girl. And I love that because I think those are those authentic moments, like you mentioned earlier, that are so relatable. We all don't look that good all the time. So yes, your confidence is a different type of confidence.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. That's nice. And I think a word for both Amber and I is fun. We are hilarious.
We think we are.
It definitely comes through in the film. Just wait till you see the comic relief in all of this. It's just excellent. It really does shine through.
Good. Oh, good.
And fun is
important.
So I'll give you another word then. For both of us is that we're very loyal. We've got each other's backs. We're loyal to the people that we work with. If we say we're going to do something, we follow through. Our word is our word. And I think in this industry, it can be particularly challenging to navigate that at times because you're dealing with a lot of egos. And so we don't have that.
That's beautiful.
You get what you get.
Yeah.
It's really refreshing. And I feel like more and more people are craving it and adhering to that and moving through life with like-minded individuals, keeping those people close. It's not only fun, but it's efficient as well because you can anticipate needs and you can really grow together and do fabulous things. So these words are really great. And I love that you're both sharing. It's like you share the same brain. It's very cool the way that you are synced up.
It is. What do you walk into a room with? And what do you feel as though really describes who you are for yourself and then perhaps for others?
Wow. That's tough, right? Because in your own mind, you have an idea of what you think people think of you, but you don't really know. I do try to lift up other people. I do try to give opportunities, especially now, I think in this stage of my career. And that was something Amber and I talked about, and Amber was instrumental in helping us get our teen focus group together. But it was seeing the different generations of women in this film.
Good.
It was so good. Kate, I hear you talking about helping pull others up to where you are or get close. But have you had, and Amber too, I'd love for you to chime in here too, but have you had mentors in your life that have helped you? And if you can speak a little bit about that and how they've affected you, good or bad.
Actually, I would say Kate, because I always wanted to work and produce and create. I also wanted to start a family, and sometimes those two don't always work so well together. So I ended up working in adjunct positions that supported the film and television industry. And I loved that. And I met tons of people, Kate being one of them. And she was the first person really to say to me, hey, you have all of this skill set. You have all this going on. Come, I've got a project. And I was like, oh, no, I'll be a PA. Just let me help you. I'll get you coffee. And Kate was like, hell no, you got all the parts. You're just going to come. And so she really paved the way for me to start working in a real way, has always been super supportive. And she's mentored me up that now really she treats me as a partner.
You are a partner. Oh my God. Thanks. Well, there you go.
So if you could have someone there, whether they're further ahead in their career or not, just to put their hand on your back and give you a little nudge and say, hey, you got this. Go and report back to me. We're going to figure this out together. I'm here for you. We'll do this together. That is such an empowering place to move from.
Yeah.
And that took you off guard, Kate.
Yeah, a little bit.
Have you had a mentorship in your life that...
Yeah, I've had some that are not so great. And I've had many that are fabulous and incredible. And I still do. And I think that's an important thing to have no matter where you are in your career. So if you'll indulge me for a minute, I'll tell you a very quick story. I'd done an apprenticeship in Toronto for a show running apprenticeship through the NSI at Frantic Films. And then I'd become friends with one of their development producers there, Bernard, who's this very fabulous British man. And then I'd come back home and I was developing some ideas. I was a baby producer, really, and started pitching things around. And I got my first pitch meeting. And I was very, very nervous because I'd pitched before, but this was the first real pitch, actual broadcasters. And I called up Bernard and I said, I'm so nervous. I'm so scared. And he's like, right, Kate, you just go in there and you put your hand on the door. Before you go in, you think, I am Kate fucking Gruen. And you push that door open and you go in there and you pitch your little heart out. That's a terrible British accent.
Also, your accent is fantastic.
Yeah, but it was a good reminder that we have to stop sometimes and remember we have to pump ourselves up sometimes. And sometimes we need other people to do that for us.
Hey, friends. Have you heard about Loba? If you take vitamins or supplements, you need to. Loba is this new, beautifully designed smart pill organizer that looks gorgeous in your space and is made to fit your life. It connects to Wi-Fi via the Loba app, where you set daily reminders for when it's time to take your pills. Loba then lights up in the color you've chosen for it to glow. It's designed to tap into the power of visual cues and ease mental load while contributing to better health and wellness. Plus, it's female-founded. Okay, now for the good part. They are offering halfbetty subscribers 10% off. Select your Loba pill and supplement organizer at shoploba.com using our exclusive discount code halfbetty, one word in all caps, at checkout. Again, that's code halfbetty for 10% off at shoploba.com. And be sure to give them a follow on Instagram at shop.loba. Sometimes mentorship can be very simple on the outside. Just that person to call, that person for reassurance, someone to lean on to get a little boost. We really believe in mentorship, and we're working on something in the background that is really, truly exciting that we're going to be talking about soon. So I would love to hear a little bit more about how the film came to be. The film is called Menopause, Coming in Hot. It's a feature film documentary. I'd love to hear that moment, Kate, for you, where things switched and changed to the point where you were like, I got to do this. And who am I going to bring on? And how am I going to move forward with this?
Yeah. Well, Amber's always my first call when I have a harebrained idea. I think the first pass I'd come up with something, and it was just too big. It was like going around the world, looking at other women and other cultures. And of course, that's a little bit tone deaf in this day and age. So a year had gone by and I met with Christina at Banff World Media Conference and sat down with her, and we hashed out what is this documentary, because she was very eager to do a documentary about menopause, as was I. And we hashed out this idea about making it more personal, but I still didn't want to make it too personal. I still wanted to have a bit of a barrier. And so I had said, well, I just found out that I've got Scandinavian roots. And I said, what if I'm trying to find my inner Viking warrior, my shield maiden? So I had this idea where we'd do interstitial sketches in between serious interviews. So still, again, distancing myself a bit from it. And we pitched it again, and they're like, yeah, we like it, but let's scrap the whole Viking thing. And so I was like, oh, then it's just me. Right? I mean, especially when you start getting your body fat scanned on camera and going to your doctor talking about your IUD.
And especially coming from a director behind the scenes, that's always been your job, is to be behind the scenes. And so not only is it really vulnerable to put yourself in these positions, but you are right on camera for everybody to see. And thank goodness you did.
Yeah. And so we got the green light, and Amber and I talked about this very hot topic, and we wanted to be the first out of the gate because I feel like we're going to get inundated with menopause movies soon. So we really pushed, and we closed financing and got it going in February, post through the summer, and now it's done. It was fast for a documentary.
So tomorrow will be World Menopause Day. That's why we wanted to have you on Half Betty, so that everyone can learn a little bit more about where they can find your film. It's not available yet. It's going to be having its world premiere at the Whistler Film Festival. Can you both talk about your ties into the festival? What's that like, having your world premiere at a local festival in Canada, especially at Whistler?
I think it was really important for us to premiere in BC, in Canada. To Kate's point, this is a Canadian story, and working within the medical resources we have available to us here in Canada, it's great to hear from Halle Berry and from Oprah and all those fabulous women that we love and adore. But it's so awesome to have a real Canadian woman's story, and just that perspective. And so, yes, Whistler, thank you. So amazing. We're so happy to launch there. And I've been an attendee many times. I've never had a film in Whistler before. So it's kind of like going home to premiere that in a lot of ways, for us having so many of our friends and colleagues in the room too.
I was in the Whistler Producers Lab a few years ago now. So it's like your alum, and it's great to come home and be around your colleagues.
I noticed how you wove in women of all ages, of course, yourself representing women in the perimenopause, menopause phase, but you also pepper in women much older. These women who, at the time that they would have been going through perimenopause and menopause, had little to no information about what they were experiencing. And to pull together women of all ages and have them share their experiences and what they went through, what probably for them is the first time that they'll ever talk about their experience with perimenopause and menopause, because nobody ever talked about it, not even their friends. I loved how you and Amber and the rest of your team brought that to life through the film. You wove in these beautiful stories coming from the mouths of these older women. You had your young teenage group, which literally made me giggle. I had to go back and watch it a couple of times, because watching those girls' expressions, and they're so articulate, and I just adore them. But overall, really loved and how you brought in all these different women.
To your point, that also the perspective of the women that are on the other side, right? That are finally able to talk about it. And there's a moment where Kate and I are chatting with our producer friends, and I'm going to say the truth, which is no one ever talked to me about it. Not one person. I knew nothing about it. And I feel like I'm a fairly informed person. I go back to being resourceful. I'm pretty good about researching things. How did I have all of these symptoms and not once stop and think, I'm going through perimenopause.
I know.
How did I not know that?
Right?
I guess because you don't know what you don't know. Like, how am I supposed to know that my shoulder hurting when I went in and my doctor said, oh, that's just people of your age? Well, why didn't you call it what it was? Why didn't you say it's perimenopause? So just things like that I think that's what I'm hoping this film really does for folks.
Hey friends, Krista here. Andrea and I are thrilled to offer an exclusive discount to our halfbetty subscribers. We've fallen in love with our Chelsea boots from Bose & Co. They're soft, breathable, and handcrafted with 100% vegan, eco-friendly materials. As stylish as they are planet-friendly, this Canadian-founded brand proves you don't have to sacrifice style for sustainability. Featured in Vogue, Cosmo, Glamour, and Forbes, Bose & Co. is offering our halfbetty subscribers 50% off. You're welcome. Find the link in our show notes.
Most of us have had that moment of, if we don't talk about it, the next generation's going to have to deal with it. You don't complain. You're a woman. And if you complain, you've got more of a target on your back. And I think it was really important too that, because we were interviewing some of the top Canadian doctors and experts in the fields and people that have done really incredible research. And I think it was really important that when we were on set and we were going through the process of making the film is that we really gave a platform to these people because they're the experts. And so it was important for us to give them a platform to give out that information. And just slightly going back to the idea of research and how little is given to women's health. And then the small portion within that is on menopause. There's definitely room for improvement. And we touch a lot in the film about that and a little bit of history of women's health as well and how we got to this point, but highly underfunded. Although there are some glimmers of hope.
So not only is it informational, but it's funny too. And the way that you were able to weave your personal experiences with those interviews was just brilliant. What was the editing process like for you?
Well, because we were on such a tight timeline, we did have a fairly good idea of what it was going to be. And so we brought Tammy on and she just did her story editing magic along with Aaron Cumming, who is an incredible Emmy Award-winning editor.
You're so close to the film, you're in the film, it's challenging, right? And so I guess, Amber, you come in and reassure Kate that yes, indeed, this is what we need to do. And we are keeping that part of it. And way to go for being so bold and brave.
Yeah, I think that's what's so great. Kate is super collaborative and super receptive to other people's thoughts around it. And because I was just that little step back, I think the choices that were made as far as leaning quite heavily on the experts that we had access to because they are so well informed. It's like I can't quite tell. It's Kate's journey, but it's really also a platform for these experts to have a voice. And I think it's woven so beautifully together. And really, it is thanks to Aaron and Tammy because they're both superstars. That it just really works very well. There's some comedy and a range of 13-year-olds through to 80-year-olds. And then those folks we just were able to interview on the street to just give regular people a voice. And so I think, just put all those pieces together. We're really proud of what we've been able to create.
Mm-hmm. What I find is relatable is that whether you understand filmmaking or not, the essence of working, having a career while navigating perimenopause is, it doesn't matter whether you're in film or you work for some company. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing. But as women, navigating all the things that come up, that's super relatable for anybody, for any woman who's working anywhere. So I really appreciate that there's this relatability again for whomever you are, wherever you are, and with whatever it is that you do. So I think that's such a nice aspect of this conversation is that it gives people both the chance to deep dive into filmmaking and what it took for the two of you to bring this to life. And then it also is relatable to whatever it is that women are doing out there that are listening to this podcast. They're like, when I go to teach that grade 4 class tomorrow as a teacher, I better wake up and have something that I can take because of hot flashes all day long. It's timely and so important for women to hear your story and to watch this film.
You have a classroom full of grade 4s screaming and bouncing off the walls. You've got to make decisions and be on your game.
Yeah.
And by the end of the film, I've really gone on this journey and realized that I can be confident. I can get through this. I can age beautifully. I can, and I will be okay.
And that's what I really appreciate too, Kate, is that even though you're bringing the audience into your journey, you're also asking the questions about other people. And the experts are also sharing those findings and learnings with the audience. And not that this film is just your view and your take and your experience through it. It's not offering advice on any one particular thing. It's offering a chance for people to be heard, for people to relate, to know that they're not alone, which is refreshing. And it's really beautiful what you've been able to put together. So, Kate, you've shared a little takeaway of what's happened and how you feel on the other side. Amber, I'd love to hear from you and your learnings from being a part of this incredible journey.
Yeah, just as you were just saying those words there, Krista, I think more than anything, I'm hoping this film is a catalyst for others. Like you said, that was Kate's journey. By no way are we trying to say this is the route to go in dealing with your particular symptoms. I'm hoping it normalizes talking about menopause. You chatted about your boys. I also have a son. He knows a heck of a lot about menopause now after hearing us create this film. And I love that for him. And he's curious because I want this to be normal. I too have gone on hormone replacement because of this film. I did not know what I did not know. And I always say this, if my kids came to me with any one of those symptoms, I would have made a doctor's appointment right away.
Yeah, right?
Been like, oh my gosh, there's something wrong with you. But as women, we often put ourselves on the back burner. And I think after watching Kate go through this, I was like, why am I not stopping and taking the time for me? And I did exactly that. I know there's another person from our crew who thanked me and was like, I'm sleeping because of you guys. I actually went and got help. So if anything, I've come out of this hoping it gets people thinking about what's right for them and giving women back their power so that we can do all these amazing things that the next part of our life is going to offer.
Further to that, as women, we are biologically, I believe, used to being uncomfortable. Our pain tolerance is higher. We are used to being uncomfortable because every month we are uncomfortable for a very huge part of our lives. We are used to being very much in our bodies and every little thing that's going on, but we will be like, oh yeah, that's just a period cramp, or I got a migraine, that's once a month. We are used to this uncomfortableness in our body. And when we get to this point, it's just another thing further to what Amber's saying. We're hoping that this film, people will watch it and go, yeah, why am I putting up with this? What's going to work for me? And I don't need to feel this way. We can find ways to make ourselves feel great.
Oh, that's so important.
Good.
You're giving permission to inquire, permission to feel, permission to share. And sometimes that's all we need, right? And you do it in such a great way. So we're coming close to the end here, and we could go on for hours because it's so important, but also fun. And we're grateful for your time. I'd love to know what's happening with the film. It's World Menopause Day tomorrow. Do you have anything that you want to share about what's happening tomorrow? We've already talked about the world premiere of the film at Whistler Film Fest in December. Do you have a date yet for that?
No date yet.
Okay, that's coming.
First weekend of December. So have a girls' trip. Go up to Whistler for the weekend and go see a menopause film.
Yeah, book now because it gets busy. So that's a good suggestion. And the film, what the future holds for the film, and also what you would like to see for the film.
Yeah, we are releasing the trailer tomorrow. So on all our social media platforms, you'll be able to see the trailer and get a little peek into what you might see in the film. And beyond that, it's going to be on TELUS Originals. We don't have a broadcast date yet, but that will be in 2026. And in terms of international distribution, come and have a chat with us.
Come and have a chat.
So where can our listeners find you and also learn more about the movie?
You can find us under the handle Menopause Coming in Hot.
You can find me on KGP Films on Instagram.
Can I ask you what's next?
For myself, I'm looking at another web series.
And I think for us, we're always creating. It's just always thinking and developing and ideating. And it continues next week as we go on a paranormal investigation, which you never know what Kate and I are going to be up to. Really.
Thank you so much for today.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate you and what you're doing. And
yeah, we love you guys and your show. And we just love that you're lifting women up all over. So thank you.
Absolutely. That's the goal.
We're all in it together.
We're right by your side.
I love it.
Okay, ladies, we'll say goodbye for now.
Thank you.
As for our listeners, you can always find us on Instagram at halfbetty. Both Andrea and I are on LinkedIn, and we're also on YouTube. You can catch our episodes there and some small tidbits of Andrea and I exclusively on video on YouTube. So follow along. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you soon. Bye.